Let's look at this particular example. It says this personnel department, Hernandez brother, is centralized and provides services to two different operating units, Miami office and New York office. The Miami unit is the original unit of the company and is well established. On the other hand, the New York unit is new, much like startup company. That means those two units are different. They're not homogeneous. The cost of the personnel department allocated to each unit based on the number of employees in order to determine the unit profitability. So basically, the unit has its own direct cost, but also they want to allocate the centralized personnel cost to those two units so they can see, then they take the revenue from each office minus the total cost of each office to calculate the profitability of each unit. So if you allocate differently, then the profitability number will be different. Currently, they're using this plan-wide or the organizational-wide single rate at $300 per employee to allocate the total cost, total personnel cost across the board. So the question asks us to compute the cost allocated to each unit using the current allocation system. So this is a very simple and straightforward. But when you do your homework or when you do exam, there may be a little bit more complicated, but the essence of this problem still stands. Basically, you need to figure out when you have a single rate, sometimes you need to calculate to get that rate, or sometimes the rate is given to you. So you just need to make sure how to calculate the rate using the examples that you have from our lecture and in the book. And then once you have the allocation rate, which we have here, in this case, is $300 per employee. So we're going to allocate that. We know that for Miami versus New York, so we have Miami office, New York office. All right. So here we got 1,900 employees times $300 per employee. And this is $600, 600 employee times 300 per employee. So you can quickly calculate that. That's pretty straightforward. All right. So here will be $570,000 allocated to Miami, and then 180,000 allocated to the New York office. So that's pretty straightforward. All right. For B, we're thinking for B, it says the Livon, the manager of Miami unit, is unhappy with this kind of allocation methods. He believes that he gets little benefit other than the occasional hire and termination help. Means Livon says, I don't need personnel office much. I occasionally using them. On the other hand, New York office, since it's a startup, kind of new, so they do a lot of hiring, a lot of terminations. They actually use the personnel department a lot. As we understand in the company, that is the activity, the level of activity actually drives the cost. The higher the activity, the more activity you engage in doing, the higher the cost, or everything else equal. So in this case, they say it's unfair to allocate based on number of headcounts. Should be allocated based on the complexity of the personnel HR department, the work that HR department engaging. So they are saying that should we have two different rates, so departmental rates differently because the departments are different. So we have two different rates here. Instead of a plan-wide, this is your plan-wide. This is your two different departmental rates. So in this case, for Miami office, we have 1,900 employee times $80 per employee, and then we have 35 new hires and then 15 terminations. That's total, and each time that happens, it costs us $2,750. All right. So that's that. we can quickly calculate that. So this is like $152,000. And this is something like, let me see, let me get my calculator. So 35 plus 15, that's 50 times 2750. That gave us 137,500. So total in this case, 137,500 plus 152. You'll have 289,500. All right. Clearly, you can see the difference right now. All right. So here for the New York office, you have 600 times $80 per employee, but they did 100 new hires and 50 terminations. That times, each time that happens, it costs us $2,750. So you do that, that's $48,000. And this is $412,500. So the total, those two components is $460,500. Again, you can see this number and this number are significantly different. So when you use the plan-wide single rates, which is you got here, and this is your allocation, all right? And you clearly penalize the Miami office that has more employee, but has less demand of personnel department services. And you undercost the New York office in this case, all right? So this will be the B will be a better way to allocate. So if this question is not asking, but if sometimes it does, it's asking for profitability. In this case, then you probably given the information about the revenue, blah, 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 for the Miami office. And then you have New York office. So they got their revenues. And then you have minus the direct costs of those office. Most likely you will be given those informations. And then minus this allocated personnel cost. Then you have the profit of each department, each unit. All right, so that's some question will have the third step, but in this question, we only got the first two steps. All right, thank you.